Hey everyone, I'm Scruffy from Cornucopias, and this video will be a comprehensive guide on how to set up a Cornucopias node pool. Before we get started, you should know that some advanced technical knowledge will be helpful, such as a general understanding of Docker, running commands on the command line, as well as a general understanding of networking regarding firewalls and internet router configurations like port forwarding. You'll also need to have at least one node access key NFT on the Cardano or base network in a wallet connected to your Cornucopias player account. At the time of filming of this video, all node pools are private pools, meaning that you may only delegate your nodes to your pool. However, if you do not feel comfortable running your own node pool, or just prefer not to, the ability to delegate to a public pool will be available in the future. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a pool in your Cornucopias player account, how to set up Docker to be able to serve files to the public, and how to monitor and make sure your pool configuration is running properly. We'll also have chapter markers to make sure you can skip ahead to any part you may need specific help with, or so that you can come back and review specific sections of the video. However, if you've not set up a node before, I highly recommend watching the video start to finish before attempting to do so. Okay, let's get started. Now, before we get into the process, if you plan on setting up your node pool locally, you might want to check to make sure your network supports port forwarding natively, which is required for nodes. So the first thing we're going to do is find out what your IP address is. You can do that by just doing a search for what is my IP. And if we click on the first one here, we see this IPv4. That is going to be our IP address. We're going to quickly copy that. And then we're going to open up a command prompt. You can do that on Windows by going down to your little search bar and typing in CMD and selecting the command prompt. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a command called traceroute. So we're going to type in TRACERT and then hit a space, and we're going to paste in that IP address that we just copied. And we're going to hit enter. Now, if you notice, it returns one line here. Basically, it's saying, all right, this is one hop. So it took one hop to get to our own IP address, meaning that our network does support port forwarding. If you see multiple lines here, then that's going to mean that your network doesn't natively support port forwarding. There are some things that can be done. However, that's beyond the scope of our support here at Cornucopias. The first step in the process is to create a node pool on the website. In order to do so, you need to be logged into your cornucopias.io account. Once logged in, you need to make sure that your wallet is connected that contains the Cornucopias NFT node. You can do so by heading on over to the settings page, clicking on wallet, and click on add wallet if you've not already done so. You can check by going to View My Game Assets, and you should see a file node access key or multiple file node access keys if you own them. With your wallet containing your node connected, go ahead and use the navigation to go to the Manage Pools page. It doesn't currently show up on this screen for me because I'm filming this prior to release. Once here, you'll go ahead and click Create Pool. On the Create a Pool page, we're going to enter the name of the pool. Now, the name of the pool should be a concise description of the pool, which can be especially important if you plan on running multiple pools. We'll just put in Scruffy Test Pool. Then we're going to create a ticker. This, again, can be anything we want it to be. I'll go ahead and call it STP1. Currently, the type of pool can only be private, but again, in the future, there will be a public pool option. Next, we're going to come down and select the node we want to assign to the pool. As you can see, my nodes are listed here. I can go ahead and select a node. Then I can again click in the box and select another node. We'll just do 2 for now. Next, you're going to create a description. Once we have our description, we can put some private notes in here, like this is running on my test bench PC. It might be helpful to put a location in your house, a machine name, or some other descriptor that'll help you tell them apart in the future. Once we're done with that, we'll click Create Pool. And as you can see, we get a notification in the bottom right-hand corner that the node pool was successfully created. However, if you notice, it does say Setup Needed. So we're going to scroll down the page to the Getting Started. Notice at the bottom of the page, we've got two buttons. Setup Guide, which will link you to the Copy Wiki with a detailed list of instructions on how to set up node pools if you'd prefer to follow along in text format, and a Get Access Key button. We're going to go ahead and click on Get Access Key, and our access key is revealed. This key will be used in running the pool server. This is how the pool server software will know its configurations and provide performance information for its node that will yield rewards. Store this key in a safe place. We're going to go ahead and copy it to our clipboard. Another important note, the pool access key does need to be kept secret, but if there's any reason the node owner suspects the key has been compromised, we can go to the pool management section, we can click Edit Pool, and we can scroll down to the very bottom and refresh our key. Remember, the access key will be shown one time only. It's recommended that the access key be replaced immediately since the old access keys will no longer work. The next step in the process will be to install Docker. You can do so by following the link in the description or go directly to the docker.com page. Now, as we can see here, Docker is available for Mac and Linux. However, that's outside the scope of this video. Today, we're just going to be focusing on Windows. Running Docker on Windows is best facilitated using Docker Desktop. As you can see, it's supported for both AMD 64 and a beta version is supported for ARM 64. I'm going to go ahead and click on the AMD 64 and the download will begin. Once the download is finished, go ahead and click on it to run the desktop installer. Go ahead and leave the defaults and click OK. And once the installation has completed, you should get a success, and we can go ahead and close that dialog box. We can go down to our Windows search bar and type in Docker and click on the Docker Desktop app. We'll agree and accept. And we're going to go ahead and skip this. Skip this. And we have Docker Desktop running. Pro tip. Instead of starting Docker each time you start Windows, you can go to the settings menu in Docker and select Start Docker Desktop when you sign into your computer. We can go ahead and close out of this for now. An alternative method is opening up a command prompt or PowerShell and typing Docker space PS. It should return an empty set of running containers. Again, we can close out of this and move on to the next step. The next step in the process is creating public access. We're going to do this through a process called port forwarding. We're going to try and run through the process here and now. However, there are many different network configurations and all routers are different, so it's impossible for us to cover every single setup. The first thing you'll need to do is log into your router. Now, as I mentioned before, every router's settings pages are just a little bit different. So it may not look like this, but you're looking for similar features. Mine is located under the Advanced tab, and it's under the NAT forwarding section, and we've clicked on Virtual Servers. It may say port forwarding, it may say virtual servers. That's what you're looking for. We're going to go ahead and add one. Service type, we can call it whatever we'd like Cornucopias nodes. We're going to pick an external port. For this, we're going to pick 8001. Then we're going to pick an internal IP. That is going to be the internal address of the computer that you want the traffic to go to. So to do that, I'm going to open a command prompt and type in ipconfig. That's going to give you a list, and we are looking for our IP4 address right here. As you can see on mine, it's 192.168.0.148. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to select the internal port, which is also going to be 8001. For protocol, we're going to select TCP. And then we're going to click OK. Now, as you can see, I've already got this port set up from a previous installation. However, once it's created, you should be able to see it in the list of virtual servers. Again, if you need help with your specific router, a quick Google or YouTube search should get you where you need to go. The next thing we need to do is decide where we are going to hold all of the cache files. Some things to consider. You need to make sure there's enough free space. There could be as much as 100 gigs of cache files as the project starts getting up to speed. NVMe drives are much faster. However, a spinning drive might make sense if size is a consideration. I'll just go ahead and create a folder called Nodes at the root of my C drive. Now it's time to configure and start our first container. We're going to do this by using some sample code that is on the Cornucopias setup guide. So make sure and head on over there using the link in the description below. And we're going to copy the sample docker compose.yml with cache configuration path to our text editor. If you don't have a dedicated text editor, Notepad will work just fine. We're going to go ahead and paste our code into our newly created file. And then we're going to take our access key that we created earlier, and we're going to copy that and paste it where it says paste access key here. Next, we're going to need to go to our previously created folder, and we're going to need to create a cache folder within there. Next, we want to double click up here in the address bar and copy this file path. Then we're going to come down here to the final file line and paste it starting at the beginning of the drive letter and ending prior to the colon. Now we're going to go ahead and save the file by clicking Save As, and we're going to save it in our parent node folder. Now, one real quick important thing is we want to go ahead and save this as a .yml file. So we need to go ahead and have all types selected, and it will be called docker-compose.yml and save. Now, if we go to that folder, we can see the corresponding file that we just created. Now it's time to start Docker for the first time. Now we can open up a command line or PowerShell and change directories. However, I find it's easier to just go ahead and right click in our nodes folder and click open in terminal. Once we've done that, we're going to start our pool server using the command docker compose up-d. As you can see, it's pulling all of the necessary files, and now it is showing running 2 of 2. If you've done everything correctly up to this point, you should be able to return to your Manage Pools page in your player account and see that the current node pool is syncing. You can see here the pool has successfully connected and is syncing files. Validation should start soon. If you'd like to view the process in real time, you can go down to your little arrow here in the bottom right-hand corner of Windows. You can click on this icon that looks kind of like a whale and open up Docker Desktop. As you can see, we have our Cornucopias container. We can click on that and watch all of the magic happen. Conversely, you can just come back and check for the update on your Manage Pools page. You can check to see if your port forwarding is configured correctly by entering in your public IP address, followed by colon and the port number /health. Once you hit enter, you should receive a message on screen of a simple OK. Once the syncing process is complete, you'll move to the validating phase. This means you're waiting on your first successful download from your pool server. Once your node has served files to a user, the status will be changed to online. There may be a slight delay. You can also view logs by clicking on the pool and scrolling to the bottom of the page. From time to time, you may need to update your node. Details on how to do so can be found in the Pool Server Setup Guide in the Kopi Wiki, linked in the description below. And finally, if you're having issues, please refer to the Kopi Wiki Setup Guide and/or refer back to previous steps in this video. If you need further help, try reaching out to the Cornucopias community in the official Cornucopias Discord server. If you're still having issues and have exhausted all other resources, you can create a support ticket in the official Cornucopias Discord server. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I'll see you next time.